Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda and I'm from Amanda Crochets, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this easy and delicate baby shell blanket. This blanket measures approximately 32 inches wide by 37 inches long and is made using the shell stitch and single crochet stitch. And this is a beautiful blanket that you can make in a solid color like I did here, or you can make this in a variegated color and it will still turn out very pretty. I think this is perfect for a baby, and you can always make this blanket for your own baby, or if you are going to a baby shower, this will be a perfect gift for that. So let's get started on today's tutorial on learning how to make the easy baby shell blanket. So for today's tutorial, you're going to need 4 skeins of Premier Basix DK, and this is a number 3 lightweight yarn. This is 306 yards, 280 meters. It's a 3.5 ounce skein, or 100 grams. It's 100% acrylic, and it has been tested and approved against harmful chemicals. And the color that I'm using today is the color Daffodil. It's a very pretty pale yellow color. And this is machine wash, warm, and tumble dry. Now the recommended hook size is a US G6 or 4mm crochet hook. However, I'm going to be bumping up my crochet hook today just so we can get that nice, airy, and lightweight feeling with your blanket. Now I do have a referral link in the description box below this video if you have never purchased from Premier Yarns before. And if you are new to Premier Yarns, if you use my referral link, you can go ahead and get 10% off your first order. So I will leave that in the description box below if you are interested. So you're going to need 4 skeins of the Premier Basix DK. And for your crochet hook, you're going to need a size K or 6.5mm crochet hook for today. So let's get started on today's tutorial. Okay, so for today's tutorial, you're going to need to make a chain of 104 chains. That's the size that I use for my baby blanket. However, if you wanted to make this baby blanket bigger or smaller, you can always change up the starting chain. So the starting chain is going to be worked in multiples of 6 plus 2. So you're going to make 6 chains, make 6 more chains, make 6 more chains after that, and then if you're satisfied, you will add 2 more chains to the very end. So you're going to times any number by 6, and at the very end add 2. So again, for my baby blanket, I made a chain of 104. For today's tutorial, I'm just going to do a smaller sample size and do 6 times 5, which is 30 plus 2, so a total of 32 chains for today's tutorial. So to make a chain, you're going to do yarn over your hook and pull through that loop on your hook. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Continue until you have a total of 32 chains for the tutorial, or 104 chains for your baby blanket. Okay, so once you have your desired width, or your 104 chains, let's go ahead and begin row 1. For row 1, we're going to make a single crochet into the second chain from your hook. So that loop on your hook does not count. You're going to count 2 chains, so 1 and 2, and in that second chain, you're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops, and that is your single crochet. Next, you're going to go ahead and make 1 single crochet in each of the chains across. So in that very next chain, you're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Work 1 single crochet in each of the chains across, and I will meet up with you and show you how to continue to row 2. Okay, so here is what your first row of single crochet is going to look like. Now if you are a true beginner, I highly recommend getting a stitch marker, and you're going to put it in that very first single crochet stitch that you made. So you're going to put it in the stitch right here, and then you're going to get another stitch marker and put it in that very last single crochet that you made. This is going to help make sure that you know where your first and last stitch of each row is, so that way your ends are nice and straight, and as you make more rows you're just going to move that stitch marker up. So for row 1 you're going to have one less stitch. So if you had 104 chains, you're going to have 103 single crochet stitches for your first row. So let's move on to row 2. We're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn. In that very first stitch we're going to make a single crochet. So that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. You're going to go in that very first stitch right here, and you're going to make a single crochet. Now if you turn your work, you want to make sure you go underneath both loops of that stitch and complete your single crochet. Next you're going to skip 2 stitches, and in the stitch after that we're going to make our first shell. Our shell stitch is going to consist of 5 double crochets all into the same stitch. So you're going to skip the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and in the stitch after that you're going to make 5 double crochets. So yarn over your hook, insert your hook into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that is your double crochet. Go ahead and make 4 more double crochets all into that same space. So yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And remember, for your shell you're going to have 5 double crochet stitches all together. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Next you're going to skip 2 stitches, and in the stitch after that you're going to make a single crochet. So skip 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and in the stitch after that you're going to make a single crochet. And that is the end of our repeat. So to start again with our repeat, you're going to skip 2 stitches, and you're going to make 5 double crochets or your shell stitch into that next stitch. So we have 1 double crochet, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip the next 2 stitches, and in the stitch after that make a single crochet. Okay, so you're going to repeat this all the way across until you have your last stitch, and I will meet up with you at the end of row 2 and show you how to finish and move on to row 3. Okay, so I'm coming up on the end of my row and I have 3 stitches remaining. So you're going to skip 2 stitches, and in that very last stitch, which is going to be that single crochet from the previous row, you're going to insert your hook and make a single crochet. And then that is what your second row looks like. So your shell stitch is already starting to form. So for row 3, we're going to go ahead and chain 2 and turn. Your chain 2 does not count as your first stitch. So in that very first stitch, we're going to make 3 double crochets. So in this first stitch right here, make 3 double crochets. And then if you're using stitch markers, you're going to put your stitch marker right here in the top of that first double crochet. Okay, you're going to skip the next 2 stitches. So the first 2 double crochets of your shell, 1 and 2, and you're going to find that middle stitch. So you have 5 double crochets all together. You're going to go into that 3rd double crochet or that middle stitch right here, and you're going to make a single crochet. You're going to skip the next 2 stitches, which is going to be double crochet number 4 and 5 of your shell. You're going to skip those 2 stitches, and in the next stitch you're going to make 5 double crochets. So you're going to find that single crochet from the previous row, and you're going to make 5 double crochets for your shell stitch. Okay, so you're going to repeat this all the way across. You're going to skip 2 stitches. You're going to work a single crochet into the next stitch, skip 2 stitches, and work 5 double crochets into the stitch after that. So you're always working your double crochets into the single crochet from the previous row, and you're always going to be working a single crochet into that 3rd double crochet or the middle of your shell stitch. Okay, repeat this all the way across to the end of your blanket, and I will show you how to end row 3. Okay, I'm at the end of my row, so I have 3 stitches remaining. I'm going to go ahead and skip 2 stitches, and in that very last stitch you're going to make 3 double crochets. Okay, so as you can see with your blanket, your shell stitches are going to be offsetting one another. So in your even rows, you're going to have one more shell than you will with your odd rows. So if you're doing the same size blanket that I am, you're going to have 17 shell stitches and 18 single crochet stitches for your second row. And then for your third row, you're going to have 16 shells, 17 single crochets, and your stitches on the sides, so on the very first stitch and the very last stitch, you're going to have 6 altogether. So 3 on this side and 3 on this side. So again, your shell stitches are going to be offsetting one another, just like that. Okay, so let's move on to row 4. Row 4, you're going to chain 1 and turn. Into that very first stitch, you're going to make a single crochet. So right here, you're going to skip 2 stitches, and in that single crochet from the previous row, you're going to make 5 double crochets all together. Okay, skip the next 2 stitches, and in the stitch after that, make a single crochet. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and repeat this all the way across. You're going to skip 2 stitches, make 5 double crochets into the stitch after that, skip 2 stitches again, and make a single crochet into that top of the shell or that middle double crochet of your shell stitch. I will meet up with you at the end of row 4 and show you how to continue the pattern. Okay, so I'm coming up at the end of my row. I have 3 stitches remaining. I'm going to skip 2 stitches, and in that very last stitch I'm going to make a single crochet. So this is what 4 rows of your blanket is going to look like. So for the remainder of the pattern, you're going to go ahead and repeat row 3 and 4 until your desired height. I'm going to go ahead and make my blanket, and I will let you know how many rows I've made in total. And again, you're just going to go ahead and repeat rows 3 and 4 over and over again for the pattern. Okay, so here's what my shell stitch blanket is looking like so far. I did end up making 76 rows in total. You can always make this a little bit taller if you like, if you want a longer blanket. But this is what the shell stitch is starting to look like. So once you have your 76 rows, you want to make sure that you end on a row 4 row. So a row 4 row is when you start and you end with that single crochet stitch. So you want to make sure you end on a row 4 row for your blanket. And right now my blanket is approximately 34 inches long. Okay, so to move on to the border, you're going to go ahead and you're going to chain 1 and you're going to turn. Okay, and in that very first stitch, which is going to be right here, you're going to go ahead and make 3 single crochets into that very first stitch, and that's going to form your corner. So 1, 2, and 3. You're going to make 1 single crochet in each stitch across the top until there's 1 stitch remaining. So you're going to go across the top of your entire blanket and you're going to make 1 single crochet in each of the stitches across. So go ahead and make 1 single crochet in each of the stitches across, and I will meet you when you have 1 stitch remaining, and we will go ahead and continue working along this side of our blanket. Okay, so I'm over at my second corner and I have 1 stitch remaining. So in that last stitch, I'm going to make 3 single crochets, and that's going to form our second corner. Okay, so you're going to turn your work, and now we're going to be working along the side of our blanket. And for the side of our blanket, we're just going to make 1 single crochet evenly all the way down. So at the end of each double crochet row, you're going to have a double crochet and either a single crochet or a chain 1 space. You're going to work 1 single crochet in each of the stitches of that double crochet, and then 1 in that chain 1 or that single crochet stitch. So here's my first double crochet. I'm just going to go right in that stitch and make my single crochet. In that same double crochet stitch, I'm going to go into that next space. I'm going to make another single crochet, and then in that chain 1 space or that single crochet space, I'm going to go ahead and make that single crochet right there. Now you don't have to have a specific number of single crochets down the sides of your blanket. You just want to make sure that your single crochets are evenly distributed along the side of your blanket. So go ahead and continue that. You're going to make one single crochet in the top of that double crochet, one single crochet in the bottom portion of that same double crochet stitch, and then one single crochet in that chain one or single crochet space. You're going to repeat that all the way down until the end of your blanket. When you get to the end of your blanket, that very last stitch is going to be your next corner stitch. So right here where you have your tail, this is going to be your corner. You're going to put 3 single crochets in your corner. Along the bottom of your blanket, you're going to work 1 single crochet across until you get to that corner space. In that corner space, you're going to make 3 single crochets. And then along the other side of your blanket, you're going to do the same thing that you did with this side, working 1 single crochet evenly along the side of your blanket. When you get to the beginning of your blanket where we started with our corner, you're going to go ahead and slip stitch. So go ahead and single crochet around your entire blanket for the first round of your border, and make sure to work 3 single crochets in each corner. I will meet up with you at the end of the round 1 of the border, and we can move on to round 2 together. I have 1 more stitch remaining. So now we're back at the beginning of our border, and I'm just going to go in that first single crochet and make a slip stitch to close the round. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and chain 1, and we're going to turn our work. Okay, so for round 2, we're going to go ahead and make a single crochet in the very first stitch. So in this stitch right here, you're going to go ahead and make a single crochet. You're going to make a single crochet in each stitch around, making 3 single crochets in the middle stitch of your corner. So what I mean by that is you're going to have those 3 stitches in the corner. You're going to make 3 single crochets into that center. So go ahead and make 1 single crochet along your blanket, and then when you get to the first corner, I will go ahead and show you how to make the corner for round 2. Okay, so I'm over at my first corner, and I have these 3 stitches right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to find that middle stitch, which is going to be right here, and you can put a stitch marker in the center of that 3 single crochet border if that would help you determine what the corner is or that middle stitch is. So for your first stitch of that corner, you're going to make 1 single crochet. For that second stitch or that middle stitch, that is where you're going to build and make your 3 single crochets to form your corner. And finally, for that last single crochet in that corner stitch, you're going to work 1 single crochet. Okay, so that's going to form your corner. So again, for borders, for the border round 2, 3, 4, and 5, you're going to repeat round 2. So you're going to make 1 single crochet in each of the stitches around your blanket. You're going to make 3 single crochets into each corner, so just the way that I showed you in that middle stitch. And then after each round, you're going to slip stitch, chain 1, and turn your work. So for round 2 through 5, you're going to repeat round 2, and I will meet up with you and show you how to move on to round 6 of your blanket. Okay, so I have my 5 rounds of my border. We're going to go ahead and make 1 more border. So go ahead and chain 1 and turn your work. And we're going to go ahead and make our shell border. So in that very first stitch, you're going to go ahead and make a slip stitch. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull up the loop, and pull through that loop on your hook. You're going to skip the next stitch, and in the stitch after that, you're going to make your shell stitch, which is going to be 5 double crochets into the same stitch. So go ahead and skip the next stitch, which is right here, and in the stitch after that, you're going to make 5 double crochets. One, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that is your shell stitch. You're going to skip the next stitch, and in the stitch after that, you're going to make a slip stitch. So skip that next stitch, make a slip stitch into that next stitch. And you're just going to repeat this around, and you're going to do nothing special when it comes to the corner. So you're just going to continue with this repeat. So let me do it one more time for you. After you make your slip stitch, you're going to skip 1 stitch, and in the stitch after that, you're going to make 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're going to skip that next stitch, and in the stitch after that, make a slip stitch. So go ahead and repeat this around your entire blanket. You're again going to skip that next stitch, make 5 double crochets into the next stitch, skip that next stitch, and make a slip stitch into the next stitch. Repeat that around your entire blanket, and I will show you how to finish off your blanket and weave in your ends. Okay, so I'm coming up to the beginning of my blanket, and I have 2 stitches remaining. So in this stitch right here, you're going to skip 1, and the stitch after that, you're just going to make a slip stitch. Then you're going to cut a tail for your yarn. And then yarn over your hook and pull through and tighten. You're going to get your tapestry needle and go ahead and weave in all of your ends of your blanket. So to weave in your ends, you're just going to go in and out of the stitches. And you're just going to go in between to hide that tail. I usually like to go in 3 different directions to really make sure that my tail is secure. Okay, and let's go back in the other direction. Okay, and then finally, one more time, let's go back in the 3rd direction. Now this is not required. I just like to go in 3 different directions, again, to make sure that my tail end is secure. And once you feel like your end is secure, you can go ahead and cut the excess tail off. And you're going to repeat that for your other tails. So let me zoom out a little bit. So this is what your blanket is going to look like. You have your beautiful shell stitches for the main part of your blanket. You have 5 rounds of single crochet, and then you have that very pretty shell border. And then here is what all your corners are going to look like. So for your corners, like I said, you're not going to be doing anything special for the corners. You're just going to continue that border all the way around your blanket. So thank you so much for joining me today on learning how to make the shell stitch blanket. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Please like, comment, and subscribe to see all future videos by me. And as always, happy crocheting! Bye!